Which are the best crops to grow? What happens when you pass out at 2 a.m.? And why should you prioritize the solar dryers over the presses? We will answer all of these and more in today's video. These are 25 more must-know tips for Roots of Pacha. When you complete the totem challenges, you typically get a reward after, and it's usually somewhere that you need to use the transmute with your new power to get to. But did you know after completing the monkey totem, you can use the monkey totem power to get round 1 of rewards? But then if you go back here, there is a secret transmute where you can turn into the owl and you can fly to an island and get a much better second round of prizes. So make sure you explore around to see what other hidden transmute circles there are in the caves. Shaking trees is a great way to use no energy while collecting things to contribute or save to make other better items. The most obvious ones are the almonds and olives in the savannah, the pomegranates in the forest, and the dates on the beach. But there's also coconuts on the beach in the taller trees, which are a little bit harder to notice. And if you go into the jungle, you can actually collect mango. Using the portals in the caves is a great way to get around to where you need to go. But if you're by the caves, did you know that you can quickly just go to the monkey room and it will always have a few of the gems such as amethyst and peridot, and you can collect them and easily sell them for some quick cash. You can tab through your seeds and tab through your weapons, but did you know if you click on the belt and hit tab, you can actually show your second and third row of your inventory without having to open your inventory screen by pressing I. When a new season starts, you can easily see what crops are still plantable by opening your map, and the markers where you can collect them will still be there. Speaking of crops, good spring crops to prioritize is sea kale, tomatoes, and sesame, as they are also grown in summer, so you can continue your sesame and tomato plants for 2 seasons. And if your sea kale isn't done growing by the end of spring, not to worry, because you can still harvest it in summer. And as for summer crops that go into fall, you can have butternut squash, chilies, garbanzo, sunflower, and sweet potatoes all growing for 2 seasons. What about those pesky pineapples that take 18 days to harvest? Well, if you plant too late in summer, you can use an item called myco to get 1 harvest after the season ends. You just sprinkle it on a crop. So how to get myco? You can either put 2 mushrooms in a composter, or you can trade for it with Zelk. If any of these tips have helped you so far, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future tips videos to help guide you through the Roots of Pacha gameplay. Weeds will grow into your crops, so make sure you're keeping the area around where you've planted clear, or put a border of fences or stones to prevent weeds from damaging your crops. Use the press to make an oil, which is very useful because you can craft medicine for your animals. If you cannot find the herbs or have any of the crops that make oils, you can also visit Ada, and she will sell some of the ingredients in her shop every single day. When you pass out at 2 a.m., the next day you will have a debuff that is a -25 starting stamina. So you will start with 25 less stamina, but if you immediately eat some items, you can regain that no problem. It's very handy to get the belt as soon as possible. You can buy from Jizu for 500 contribution points, and I recommend doing this as soon as possible, and getting the second upgraded belt, which costs 2,500 contribution points. When you put an accessory on, it will be bound to you for 24 hours, so you cannot switch your accessories every single time that you need a different one. So make sure to pick your accessories for the day wisely. Your plants will look slightly darker when you can harvest them, so look for the darker tones, and that's an easy way to identify what plants are ready to go, as well as when it changes the color of the flower or seed on it. When your plants are starting to upgrade, the look of the plant will actually change, so you can tell when your plants are going to be giving you the next level of produce. If your mount is too nearby, you can't actually summon it, so yes, you will have to walk over and get on it manually. All right, this one isn't really a tip, but it is something cool I noticed. When you go to the original fishing spot, if Gelrod is there playing his instrument, he will actually accompany the background track and add a little bit of a flute noise to it. So that's just kind of a nice touch. New entrances in the caves are definitely marked either with a path or there will be something on the wall that will indicate that there is a room that way. So if you see that, immediately start smashing rocks and open up the next room so you can make your way through this extensive cave maze network. If you ever are hopping around as the monkey and see that there is darkness, not to worry, there are actually platforms that you can bounce around to. And if you fall off trying to find the right one, don't worry, nothing bad will happen. Motion scares fish, which I mentioned in my last video. So the harder the fish, the more sensitive they are to your mouse touches. So be very still when you're trying to catch the fish, and it's a good idea to put your mouse ahead of where you think the fish will go so that you can leave it still for a moment and build up the catch bar. So why are the solar dryers better to prioritize over the presses? Well, the simple answer is you can use multiple solar dryers at a time, whereas you can only use one press. So make sure you only craft one press because it's just not worth the resources. It does provide a lot of good juices that provide more stamina in general than the solar dryers, but you can mass produce in the solar dryers and leave everything for the day while you go exploring and come back to some nice items. The savannah can be a little bit tricky to navigate, so if you're in search for mint, it is located by this little pond right here. And last but not least, when you are wondering what you have actually planted in your sea of crops that you just randomly gathered and planted in a hurry because you are not organized like me, if you open your map, it will actually show you a very small and blurry but accurate map of what you have just planted for crops this season. So those are 25 more essential tips for Roots of Pacha. If you want to check out my first tips, I will link that at the end of the video and in the description. And let me know which ones you did already know, or more importantly, which ones you didn't know in the comments. And if these are helpful, I'll definitely make some more. So we'll catch you at the next video.